had to say, I'm wrapping up my fourth and final rotation in the Global Services Leadership Development Program at EMC. In the past 2 years, I've been able to develop a variety of attributes by completing 4 distinctive 6-month rotations in different roles across EMC and the Federation. The goal of this presentation is to highlight different aspects of my fourth rotation in the GSLDP program. The topics that I will cover include my journey through the GSLDP program, where I'll quickly touch on my previous rotations, my value add and accomplishments during this fourth rotation, and lastly, my leadership learnings from an overall program perspective. Entering the program, I had the opportunity to work in the Professional Services, Finance, and Operations organization. In this introductory rotation, I was a pricing desk analyst, providing competitive pricing intelligence in the form of discount benchmarks and account summaries to the sales teams, assisting them in making appropriate decisions around current consulting deals. For my second rotation, I was able to network across the Federation to work with Pivotal in their business critical support organization. In this rotation, I was able to create the first designated support engineer care log tool, which consisted of import automation and training capabilities through charts and graphs, providing support engineers seamless management of their service request data. Prior to the integration with VirtuStream, for my third rotation, I was able to work in the Rubicon Cloud Services organization, primarily focusing on product marketing and product management. Some of my accomplishments within this rotation included taking lead on building out the frequently asked questions document, as well as the data sheet for EMC's Elastic Cloud Storage Service, also known as ECS2. In addition, I was able to provide some assistance in implementing automation to their current onboarding and offboarding processes. For my fourth and final rotation, I had the pleasure of working with Vijay Kanchi in the Global Cloud Practices organization, which takes us to my value add and accomplishments during this fourth rotation. One of the first projects I was able to work on during this rotation was collaborating with the Global Services Knowledge Management team to build out the FEHC Pre-Sales Asset Repository. The FEHC Pre-Sales Asset Repository is a library of prearranged set of FEHC pre-sales documents consisting of proposals, client presentations, pricing spreadsheets, and other documents which are typically involved. By leveraging existing assets, we've enabled sales teams to jumpstart and dramatically reduce the time it takes to create a proposal or a sales presentation, for instance, while improving the overall quality of the document. We've been able to grow this library to consist of over 90 documents and continue to receive positive feedback on the value add and accessibility that these artifacts provide. Another project which I was able to take lead on was building out the Cloud Tours Inside EMC page for the Cloud Practices organization. This internal web page consists of videos, articles, and links to internal and external resources, providing a platform for individuals to access cloud-related information. Within this Inside EMC page, I also was able to incorporate 2 other projects that I was working on. One of those projects was the Cloud Practices podcast, where the goal was to interview some key people across the cloud organization to gain their insight and perspective on various topics such as EMC and the Federation, as well as cloud and the evolving industry. For our latest podcast, we were actually able to feature Mike Phelan, who leads the VCE, the Global Services VCE practices, no, sorry about that, the Global Services VCE Converge platform and services. The other project which I was able to incorporate within this Inside EMC page is the Cloud Practices Learning Path. For this project, I was actually able to collaborate with the Education Services team to build out a learning path which consists of level 100 to 300 e-learning courses, which provided individuals a well-rounded understanding of cloud in the industry. During this project, I was also able to be a part of a EMC Gives Back initiative with the virtual team across EMC for the Mill Hill Foundation in Trenton, New Jersey. Mill Hill Child and Family Development is a nonprofit organization providing culturally sensitive educational services and educational and behavioral health services. Sadly, the government made some budget cuts which recently affected the funding for these services. As a result, through Volunteer Connect, we were able to construct some internal and external surveys with the board of directors at Mill Hill, as well as the members at Mill Hill, as well as provide some community and industry insights. We were able to understand how this organization currently does multi-channel marketing, where the gaps lay to create a solution to raise funding for the next 3 to 5 years. Our recommendation consisted of building out social media awareness to tell this story more effectively, as well as utilizing a marketing video, which they could leverage through several marketing channels. This opportunity gave us some insight into a community-focused program, and by acting as third-party consultants, we were able to deploy a recommendation for raising funding moving forward. For my leadership learnings, I focused on summarizing what I took away from the program as a whole over the past 2 years. The first leadership learning I wanted to highlight is the importance of asking questions. Through asking questions, I've been able to quickly educate myself throughout each rotation on various products, services, processes, and more, which enabled me to gain a better understanding of the company as a whole. The next leadership learning I want to highlight is having the ability to communicate your goals and expectations clearly. Being able to tailor your message based on your audience to drive projects and collaboration has been an effective way I've gained success throughout each of these rotations. My third leadership learning, which Amanda and I actually had a team discussion on previously, is being able to provide and receive constructive feedback. Along with taking an e-learning course on this topic and having multiple discussions, I've been able to evaluate myself and others more efficiently, and from a developmental perspective, do it in a way which it creates a win-win environment for myself and my colleagues. The last leadership learning I want to leave with you all is approaching everything with positive energy and a positive attitude. One thing that I've noticed within the workplace and as well as outside the workplace is that everyone can read energy. Most people are attracted towards positivity in terms of energy and attitude. And by approaching each project and initiative with this mindset, I've been able to successfully collaborate with a lot of stakeholders throughout multiple business units, as well as build long-term relationships. One thing I remember coming into EMC, that we was going to learn a lot of acronyms, so I had to prepare for that. And one acronym that I do remember is everything must change. So being able to adapt, as each of these rotations went by was a big key to my success throughout this program. And really embracing that change has been something that allowed me to be successful as well through each of these rotations. With that, I want to give a big thank you to the program office and my peers for the continuous support. Thank you.